Aloha from Studio A in Roswell, Georgia. Today we're going to be talking about lost luggage. We're also going to be talking about college football, one of my favorite subjects, and new routes for Delta, as well as are we going back to Cuba? That and a whole lot more on this episode of Love Travel, Live Travel, starting right now. Well, hello. It is me, Joshua Harrell, one of your hosts here, joined by the fantabulous Jason Block.
Fantabulous. Hey, everybody.
Yes, did you guys notice that we decided to go no glasses here, glasses there?
I love your Hawaiian shirt.
I feel like you have one just like this. When I put it on, I was like...
I have two that are almost identical to that.
All right, we just need to coordinate that.
So, I was gonna go for something that would be something you might normally wear, but
yeah,
I didn't have.
No.
Number one, I didn't.
Your
have
caftans weren't back from the dry cleaner.
That is correct. Exactly.
I mean, hey,
so,
we'll know you, right?
Just go with what you got.
Exactly. Well, welcome to Love Travel, Live Travel. If you are a returning member of our audience, thank you so much. And if you are brand new, welcome to the show. And you're going to have a great time because this show is all about loving travel so much you choose to live in travel, which we both do, as well as our two producers in the house. We have producer Evan and producer Paul. Yeah! Paul doesn't have any sound effects, only producer Evan does. So, but he amuses me nonetheless. Anyway, we are here for this next hour to talk about all things travel and to have a grand time because what a great way to start the weekend. But this is a 3-day weekend.
3-day weekend, that's right.
Yay! I just realized it about a couple hours ago. It was a 3-day weekend. Yay! That was me imitating Paul there. So, in the chat, if you are joining us live, please in the chat share your thoughts, questions, and you can even answer the question. What are your plans for this Memorial Day weekend? We'd love to hear. We'll share ours, no doubt. Also, we don't have one today, but producer Evan said, can you please remind those people who are traveling to make sure they send us a postcard? So here comes the postcard. When you are traveling, send us a postcard. We want to go old school. Love Travel, Live Travel, 70 Mansell Court, Suite 100, Roswell, Georgia, 30076. Send those postcards and we will read them on the air. And then we will put them on the wall. We're starting to move a little further down the wall. We went up the wall and realized we needed to go down the wall. So,
plenty of space left.
Plenty of space. Because there's plenty of places in the world for you to travel.
Absolutely.
Where are you traveling to next?
I am, as soon as the show is over, I am heading to Florida for Memorial Day.
Florida. It's a big state.
I don't want to reveal my exact look at We're heading down to the 30A area, so kind of up in the Panhandle. It's,
okay.
Easy drive.
30A. Very, very cool. Yeah. Well, I got back from this weekend going to Hawaii for the very first time.
How was it?
Maui. I went to Maui, and hence my kukui. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Oh, look. Here I am.
Oh, look at that.
At the Sheraton in Maui with Daisha and JD. They were
what
there.
A view.
Their dresses are beautiful, yes.
Well,
just giving you a hard time. They were teaching me how to make these crowns out of flowers.
Uh-huh.
But I was the only one that would participate in this activity. Everybody else just couldn't be bothered. That I ended up making one that they said could not be worn on one's head. It's too heavy because I just kept adding to it. So anyway, that's Stacia and JD. I had a fantastic time with them, but I got my kukui nut lei.
So those are nuts.
They're nuts, and they're
Are they fossilized nuts? Like they look
Please.
polished?
yes, they're polished nuts.
Polished nuts.
They're polished nuts. Yes, they are.
They're
and
cool.
you can get them in colors. You can get them in white, brown, and black. I got all three colors, so you will be seeing you will be seeing them again. But I had a great time in Hawaii. It was very, very pretty. Yeah, so I can see why. And I only went to I flew out of Honolulu,
Right.
so I only got to see the airport there.
Uh-huh.
And those of you who have been to Honolulu, were you as surprised as I was that once you go through TSA, you are essentially still outside. There, everything is wide open breezeways. I felt like, I mean, it was moist. And I arrived 3 hours before my flight.
Uh-huh.
That means that anyone else that was going to be on my flight who was there 3 hours before was going to smell like they'd been outside for three hours. Yeah. Anyway, that I was just driving. Fortunately,
You weren't prepared for that.
I wasn't prepared for that, and it had been raining, so it was very humid. But yeah, very, very beautiful place. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is at the Sheraton in
Okay.
Maui, and then further down the way, I want to say it's that white building is where I was at the Westin Resort and Spa in Maui. And,
Okay.
I had a massage there. Do
Oh,
you do
yeah?
So if you are going to do a spa treatment, are you a spa? Are you a massage or a facial person?
Oh, massage. For
Oh.
sure. For sure. Yeah. So I go to the steam room or sauna.
Okay.
Then hopefully they have like one of those little plunge pools.
Oh,
Then-
like the
then you-
cold? Like
yeah.
Oh.
And then the hot. And alternate.
Oh.
And then the massage. And then I usually like to go back in the steam room after that.
Oh, it's supposed to be good for you.
But it's been a long time since I've done that.
I always like to get a massage, not a massage, a facial.
Yes.
Because, it's all about this, right?
That would feel weird to me.
To get a facial?
Yeah. Like, what do they? I don't even know what they do.
Oh, they cleanse and they massage your face and they hydrate and they plump and they sometimes use electrocution devices on your face.
This sounds very appealing.
Yeah, it's very desirable. But let me just say, I have had massages where can I get an amen out there? Where somebody is just like,
Yeah.
just little time. I want aggressive massages.
On your face?
No. Now I'm talking about massages in
Oh.
general. Sorry, no, on the face too. Yeah, I mean, I want to feel like it. I don't want it to just be like
Someone slap you around a little bit, or
right, like get bamboo sticks out, beat me with them, which I have had that done on an NCL ship before. But no, so on this trip, I told the masseuse, I said, be aggressive. I got a lot of stress and strain. Be aggressive. None of this like, oh, a little gentle. Guys, I have never had this happen before. I am face down with my face in the donut, and all of a sudden, she jumps onto, like pommel horse, jumps up, and then lands on the back of my thighs with her knees into my thighs.
that sounds like a kung fu movie or something.
It was, and I am still sore. So she
Wow.
took that. I mean, it was a full body massage for both of us. Like it was very intense.
Wow.
I don't know.
That sounds like a lot.
It was a lot. It was fun though. It was good. But I didn't stay very long. That's a long flight to only be for the weekend. That was very nice.
How long was it from here to there?
Well, I had to lay over in LAX.
Uh-huh.
So
So what time did you leave here?
Maybe 11. Got in their time. I got to the hotel at 7 p.m. So it was a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was done. But yeah, so it was fun. But I got the necklace, so you'll be seeing the necklace. And
I like it.
yeah. But the thing that was odd, and those of you, especially Aloha Rebecca, if you're out there, because I know that you are from Hawaii, I got these at the airport, and they were in a fridge, like how florists will have the flowers in a fridge,
Okay.
a glass fridge, and it made me think that they might sprout something if they're not frozen or in the fridge.
Are they gonna spoil or?
Yeah, or maybe I need a snack. These make me think of like the white chocolate goobers. That's what they make me think of. Anyway, let's go over to the chat. Paul said, if you get hungry, are they edible? I don't know, Paul, but it's almost like if you had access to all the knowledge of the internet, you could look up kukui nut lays and are they edible? Yeah? Okay. Let's see. So, answering our question, what are you guys doing for the holiday weekend? Producer Paul said family's in town, so we'll be playing Lizard Wizard and Raccoon Tycoon.
Do you know what either of those two things are?
No, I don't.
Neither do I. And I don't know if that mean that I'm just old and out of touch, or does that mean that
You're out of touch.
our little buddy producer Paul has some strange hobbies.
Our little buddy has some strange hobbies. That's what I think. But we love him anyway. World Via Chris said, happy Friday and happy Memorial Day weekend. My plans are to mow my lawn and play some video games. The American Dream.
Okay.
Okay. That's like a holiday weekend is the weekend I would not mow the lawn.
Mowing the lawn, it can be, therapeutic.
Really?
Yeah.
Not for me. Attitudes and Latitudes said, live on the beach. Too many tourists going to lay low and relax and barbecue all weekend.
Nice. What are you barbecuing?
I know. What are you like barbecuing, like burying it in the sand? I mean, is it going to take like all
Right, you
weekend?
wrap it in like the banana leaves and bury it. Yeah.
I want to know. Laura said,
What's your go-to
what is your go-to when it comes to
for
barbecue?
barbecuing? A good pork butt is a good thing if you're gonna smoke. If you're gonna smoke it. I've never been brave enough to tackle brisket. Just because I don't.
Why is brisket?
Because you gotta cook it a long time, and
Oh, okay.
it's less forgiving.
So pork butt
But
is
pork
very
butt,
forgiving.
ribs. My ribs are off the chain.
Pork or
Yeah, like
Okay.
pork, like baby back ribs.
okay. Well, Laura said, happy Friday. My plans are to barbecue and a good book. She's leaving out what the name of the book is. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Let's see. Erica said, traveling all the way to the grill. I like it. And Erica said, Fossilized Nuts is a great band name. So I like that, Erica. You're always thinking outside the box.
What kind of music would that band play?
The Fossilized Nuts. I don't
Kind
know.
of like punk or something like that?
Punk or ska.
Ska.
Yeah, I think that's what they would do. Terry said, those of us blessed with natural beauty can't help but to feel a facial is like painting a diamond.
Exactly, Terry.
Okay, moving right along. But guys, please keep the chat alive and let us know what you're doing this Memorial Day weekend. And, take a moment to think about all of those who have done so much to protect our freedom and those families who have supported them. So,
Absolutely.
do we have fireworks? I want fireworks. I almost cursed. Oh, I scared producer up. Oh. I was like, if that's all the fireworks, this is
like
one.
one.
Here's your firework. It's a little sparkle.
So, okay, so my wife and I were, speaking of fireworks, my wife and I were talking about this a week or so ago, and we were debating whether they would be having fireworks at the beach for Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, they just do that on 4th of July. It's just like, oh no, Memorial Day too.
Yeah.
So,
They also do
is
fireworks
that
on New Year's Day,
always been
too.
a thing, or is this? Am I just
Oh.
not remembering?
Well, back when we were lads, I think they only got the fireworks out on 4th of July.
Okay.
But then the fireworks company said, you know what?
You know what? Let's expand this.
We need to expand
We need
our
a second
season. We need to expand our season.
Okay.
Jason, I think people just like blowing things up. I think that's what it is.
I think you're right. I think any excuse to blow something up.
I love how while I was away last week, we gave producer
we
Evan
gave him a voice.
camera. Yeah. I don't know. And
You gave me autonomy.
Yeah. He's like Pinocchio.
I'm a real boy. So I watched last week's show. I mean,
did.
I was in the chat, but I watched the show from LAX, and I felt super jelly because you guys had Evan on, and that was fun. The Gen Z challenge, way to go, Paul! You did pretty good. Yeah, did all right. Let's see. Let's talk about lost luggage. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. I got to look at my notes. Producer Evan has given me some really good notes, but I thought we weren't going to the newsroom. And today at 4. There you go. So HX, which is Hurtigrutten's expedition.
Right.
So a passenger, due to a crowded plane, she had to check her carry-on,
Okay.
which that would terrify me because I have like a laptop, an iPad, I've got my prescription drugs.
Yep.
And my non-prescription drugs? No, I'm just kidding. I don't have that. I just thought I'd throw that in. But anyway, so I had to check it. The bags got lost.
Uh-oh.
And got lost, but her prescription drugs were in the case. So
In the carry-on.
in the carry-on.
Okay.
Yeah, that had been checked. So then she couldn't continue on because she wasn't sure she was going to get the medicine back. So she was at the Amsterdam. I guess she was leaving Heathrow. Was that right? Manchester Airport, and then she had a layover in Amsterdam, and that's where she discovered the luggage was lost. So she did not continue on with the trip, and so basically she missed out on the trip. She got like a voucher to go on another trip.
Okay.
But it was to Africa, and then decided that she wasn't going to go. But she's pretty much out. There's nothing that anyone will do anything for her. But the plane, I think the fact that in the article, it talks about the fact that there's no explanation as to why she didn't have another bag to, put stuff in.
Right.
But that's a very expensive. I mean, we're talking about the expedition side of Hurtigruten.
Yeah.
But to just be out, and I don't know what I would do in that situation. I mean, obviously they can tell you you're not okay.
I'll add, Joshua, also her cruise papers were in that bag too that got lost. So.
Oh, that's right.
So her boarding documents.
So she had to have something
Did she
on
not
the
even
plane.
fly to the cruise? Did she just
No.
proactively herself say, "I'm pulling myself out"? Or did she get there and was turned away?
No, she stopped in Amsterdam. Yeah, so upon arriving in Amsterdam after an 80-minute flight, she discovered that her bag was missing. And so, since she couldn't be certain whether they'd be returned, she didn't continue on the trip. And I mean, if you have a prescription an ailment where you need a prescription, I mean, that would be pretty scary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the one hand, and she may have just slipped her mind, but if you have prescription medicine or something like that, even if they're going to check your bag, you need to pull that out.
Yeah. But I wonder if what she had. Nobody says if she had anything else. Like if she had
a purse. Or
I went to Manchester Airport and all I got was this T-shirt. If she had like something like that.
She just had a crappy airport T-shirt and her polished nuts necklace. That's all she had.
That's all she had. But yeah, so she even though she got kind of a voucher to do another cruise, her sentiment has changed and she's not.
Well,
doing anything.
you feel for HX here, right? So they have a cabin that they now is empty.
Yep.
Right. So, is it their fault? Is any of this their fault? No.
Right.
So even to give her a credit, I think was
generous. It was generous.
The airline, is it their fault? There's probably a part of it that is, yeah.
Right.
Is part of it her fault? Part of it, yeah. Because you got to, pull out your medicine. I mean, unless it was we're talking like a whole suitcase full of medicines.
Well, that was unclear from our sources if it was a whole suitcase full of medicine.
Yeah. But this raises a larger issue though on flights, and it kind of bugs the heck out of me. I'd love to know what you guys think, but when they say, you're allowed such and such carry-on, right? Mm-hmm. One carry-on and a personal item, right? And some people's personal items look like a full-on suitcase, right? And then, you're the 17th person on the plane. Oh, it's already full. We're gonna have to gate check the rest of these. Make sure your storage allotment aligns to your policy. The amount of gate checking, first of all, the amount of checked baggage has gone up. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, of carry-on baggage has gone up because of all the lost baggage over the last couple of years, right? So now there's not enough storage space in the overhead bins. Mm-hmm. So more people are having to gate check. So, it kind of stinks because you can't rely on, the knowledge that you're going to be able to carry something on. So, and unfortunately, I think the airlines have a disincentive to fix it because now all of a sudden, because they're gate checking so much baggage, people have an incentive to, I want higher status so I can get on the plane earlier, or I want to buy an upgraded seat so I can get on the plane earlier. Mm-hmm. And so they've kind of created this extra demand, I don't think nefariously, but it's not a great situation.
I absolutely freak out if, for whatever reason, I'm delayed and I don't get to board when my zone is called. I'm like, there's just my bag's just not going to make. I'm going to have to check it, and I would have to unpack meds, batteries, all the equipment, and everything like that, which is just going to look embarrassing in the jetway, taking care of all that stuff. But that is, and Bill said they always announce to remove meds and documents. Yeah. And people always also push the carry-on to avoid the check bags.
It's a tough situation. Yeah. In this particular case, it's one of those where multiple people are contributing to this situation. But at the end of the day, the traveler has to have some personal responsibility.
Yeah. I will always have my passport on my person.
Yeah,
it is never.
You're not taking my bag, but it's got my passport and my
right,
like something I absolutely have to have.
Yeah,
I'm not handing that to you.
Yeah, that is going to stay with me, but
I don't know.
It was an interesting story, lots of drama, and HX is a newer brand. Like they just went through a rebrand, so they say all publicity is good publicity. But I don't know that this one is, even though they're not at fault at all.
It's
They're the ones that are brought up in the article. So
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, I think.
yeah. And then in the news, there was, which when I started to look at this, I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
Sports. And
Sports.
Delta.
Yes.
They
2 sports stories in 2 weeks. I love it.
This is exactly the show that I don't want to do. But the story is that Delta Airlines adding an impressive 50 nonstop flights and 5,600 seats between August 30th and December 1st.
30th?
August 30th. Whatever. And December 1st for many of the season's biggest matchups. Because, I don't know, Evan listed all the games. There's LSU versus USC. There's Alabama versus I almost said Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
You don't need to read all this.
I'm not going to read all of it.
Look, to me, this is newsworthy for 2 reasons. One, there are large groups of fans, right, that go to these away games, and it's we've talked about it before. There's agencies and advisors who specialize in these kinds of groups, and it's great to see airlines, acknowledging that with now scheduled service that aligns to it. But even bigger than that, I think it's just an illustration of when you look at an affinity group, right? Any kind of group of people that is passionate about anything.
Something.
There are opportunities to create products. Even within travel, right? There's opportunities to create products that appeal to that, whether it's that group cruise for, people who love Leonard Skinner or, anything under the sun, right? We've talked about the Taylor Swift cruise group. We've talked about
the raccoon type.
the big nude boat. We've talked about all these kinds of affinity groups, and this is a great example of just highlighting that you don't need to be Delta Airlines to do this. I mean, granted, you don't have your own planes. You can't add scheduled service, but the activity that their marketing department went through to identify, hey, here's an affinity group. There's an opportunity to create a product that they would buy. Let's put it in place. Let's sell it. Let's market it. That is something that every advisor in the industry can do.
But what I don't understand is last year when there weren't enough seats to get to Europe, they weren't adding more flights. So
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I think
And why are they adding flights?
that was twofold. I think
Okay.
because the planes that are running from Atlanta to Baton Rouge or whatever the route is are not the same ones that would run
That's a
from
good point.
JFK to
That's a good point.
Venice.
That's called a balanced view.
But also, we still were dealing with a lot of pilot shortages last summer.
Oh.
And
And
getting
pilots
folks-
like to get to football games too.
and people who fly on planes like their pilots who know what they're doing and are up to speed on their training. So
Yeah,
I think
good
that
point.
was
Good point.
kind of last year.
Good point.
But
I wasn't on the ball with that one.
It's okay.
But so a point to this, or not a point to this, but a point is I swear people love to call you during the show.
I know. They really do.
But it was talking about how the flights are most are outbound on Fridays and return on Sundays. And when I flew out to Hawaii, it was on a Friday. And I mean, I fly around the week. I maybe it's been a while since I was on a Friday. I have never seen the Atlanta airport more busy, and it does not help that the mayor, Andre, I can't think of his last name, is on the loudspeaker saying, "Welcome to the busiest airport in the world. Thank you. I don't need that reminder because this is
I can
awful. This is making me.
It sure
angry.
is.
Yeah, it is making me angry. So that's 50 special nonstop flights for college football season.
So yeah, I mean, where was one of the yeah, like Gainesville, Florida to Austin, Texas. Non-stop, baby.
Yeah.
Although, no, we don't. Well, I'll leave it there. We'll end the sports segment on that.
So, Follow the Second Star said, "Big new nude boat continues the streak."
You like how I worked that in?
Oh, let's see.
Never miss an opportunity.
And then Bill said to Follow the Second Star, "Are you saying the people on the big nude boat are going to go streaking in port?" I like that.
That was specifically against the rules of the big nude boat bill. There would be no nudity in port, only at sea.
Oh, the nudity.
But there's a lot of people, a lot of tourists who don't follow the rules.
Yeah. But at some point, are you just nude enough that you're like, I just need to put clothes on now? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just over it at that point.
I don't know what you mean.
You haven't gotten to that point.
I can't weigh in on that. Moving on.
So, Bill has said that you need a mic. Isn't that funny? We were just talking about that. Producer
Can you hear me now, Bill?
You gotta use your diaphragm.
Can you hear me now? Am I the Verizon guy?
Yeah, you are. That's exactly who you are. Let's see. Erica said the best fireworks ever, Atlantis, Dubai.
Oh.
Yeah. Our Erica, she's been to so many places. I want to name a place like...
Just random.
Yeah, random. And she's
Azerbaijan.
like, I've
You
never been
Erica?
there. I've never been to... I almost said Caramel, California. Carmel. Woo! I have been gone for a week. I am not right in the saddle.
I would like to go to Dubai.
Would you really?
Yeah.
What fascinates you about it?
I don't know. I think it's just the unknown. Everyone who I've talked to that's been there say, it's a really cool place. So to me, it's just one of those destinations where I still don't know a ton about it. I have no idea what I would do when I was there, but I feel like it's somewhere I should go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be very hot.
Well, it's very hot right here.
Yeah.
So,
But, so Sean is weighing in on the Fossilized Nuts band.
Yes.
They would play ska versions of Dixieland band classics. Next stop, Pottersville. And I have no idea. Erica's saying something about something about fireworks, and I can't tell what that is about. Carmel, Erica has been. Azerbaijan, not yet.
not yet.
Not yet. And Follow the Second Star said, I want to see Madeira's New Year's Eve fireworks. I mean, are they known for amazing
I don't
fireworks?
know.
I feel like she knows something that we don't.
I know. You gotta give us more.
Yeah, I know. Definitely. So, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know. There's so much good stuff here to talk about. We talked about that one. Let's see. Any of these strike your fancy, Joshua? You tell us where to go.
Well, this one about marijuana users. It's not really. It's just a screenshot.
Producer Evan printed us out an article, right? Just to have handy here. And let's see if we can zoom in on that. So the top of the article is MSC Cruises expands U.S. plan to take on Royal and Carnival, right? But the big graphic in the middle of the screen, I don't know if you can read that, but daily marijuana users exceeds alcohol drinkers. And we're looking at it like, why are we talking about that? But I was surprised to hear that. 17, almost 18 million people say they use marijuana nearly every day in 2022.
Yeah, but
now it's starting to fit with why our country is where it is.
Oh, now we're going there. That's not this show. But also YouTube does warn you to make sure that you look at your sources and don't buy the hype when you're watching videos on YouTube. So I'm just saying, could be. So, but what was the real story? Because I got distracted.
Well, the real story is something we've been talking about for, over a year. We've off and on, just mentioning, hey, MSC is this cruise operator who's extremely well funded. As part of a much larger shipping organization, and they have set their sights on the U.S. market. And it is not a short-term, this quarter strategy. It's a long-term, multi-year strategy for success. And we're seeing them continue to make investments in deploying hardware in popular U.S. ports. They're building a huge new port facility. When's that open? Sometime in the next year, I think we said. In Miami?
2025.
2025.
Spring, late spring.
So it's just, and they're continuing to use price as that lead in to get people to switch. And
people do love it. I mean, it is you hear people talk about MSC cruises all the time.
Yeah, and they have a different product. And this particular article is just about them bringing some new ships to Florida over the next couple of years, and it's just interesting to see that industry dynamic where you have in the contemporary space at least Royal, Carnival, and Norwegian as really established brands, and here's this. Relative, at least domestically, newcomer, saying, "Hey, we want a piece." And I think slowly they're winning people over, consumers and advisors. I mean, there was a time where if you uttered MSC to a room of advisors, people would be choking on their water and like. But now it's in the conversation. It may not be their favorite, right? They may be more loyal to one of the incumbent brands, but every day there's new cruisers coming to the cruise industry, and that's their first experience, and that's the group of people they're building.
Yeah.
So
they've got
just interesting.
It's well backed, as you said.
Yeah.
So they can play a longer game.
Yes.
So to your point, like they can get the first time cruisers, which all cruise lines are trying to get first to cruise. They can get them on price and experience, and then they've got them for.
And I don't think they're shy about trying to steal share either. And say what you want, but Carnival, Royal, and Norwegian are all publicly traded companies, and they need to hit earnings next quarter and show that continuous growth. I get the sense that MSC doesn't care about that. That might not be true, but they're again is a much longer play for them. It would appear to me.
Well, just following up on Follow the Second Star, talking about seeing the fireworks in Madeira. Madeira holds the Guinness World Record for the largest pyrotechnic performance in the world.
I didn't know that.
It takes approximately 8 minutes and is spread over more than 30 burning, my thing is in the way, burning fire stations located in the amphitheater of Funchal on the waterfront in downtown area. See? Learning things.
Yeah. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And Bill has made a prediction.
Yes.
Bill, he said, I bet next year MSC has a ship in Alaska for 2025.
Wouldn't surprise me. Do you remember that Conan O'Brien bit where he was like in the year 2000? This was like in the 90s.
No.
So they would play this bit on the Conan O'Brien show.
Yep.
Where they were like, in the year 2000, and they would make predictions.
And that's what Bill's doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just reminded me of a happy time in life.
Okay. The show's getting deep. Hey, so at the top of the show, we asked you the question, what are you doing this Memorial Day weekend? So feel
Yes.
free to answer that question. Another question I want to ask is, what are some travel tips you can give the bride or groom about flights to their destination wedding? We're planting that seed because we have a guest coming up
Oh.
that she's going to talk a little bit more about that. So share some of your travel tips that you would give the bridegroom about flights to their destination wedding. Okay? You have to drop those in the chat. And let's talk about Cuba
Okay.
before then. So, Abercrombie and Kent, they're going to Cuba. You want to add to that?
No,
No,
I don't
you're
know
just
anything
gonna-
about this one. Tell me.
Yeah, so they're going. So they're going to Cuba, and
Okay.
I just wanted to use it as an excuse to talk about that's potentially opening the doors for us to start going back to Cuba.
So is that when are they doing this? How is it a one-off tour or is this like a product?
It is
Or-
starting in October. The 10-day Cuba People, Art, and Culture itinerary from Camagüey to Havana will take guests on an intimate journey of nearly the entire island, discovering Cuban heritage, the country's vibrant art scene, and its natural beauty, while interacting with the Cuban people. It's the first time the luxury travel company has offered tours in Cuba since it suspended operations there in 2019.
Okay.
Like pretty much the rest of the world.
Right.
So that is the story there. But I
Yes.
got to go to Cuba. For most of my adult life, I thought I was a quarter Cuban until
That's right. You did. You told
Yep.
me that. Yeah.
until after I went to Cuba, and then did an Ancestry.com kit and found out that I was not Cuban at all. But
What were you? What was your anything surprising? I don't remember
well,
this part of the story.
oh, you don't remember this part?
Uh-uh.
Oh, it's relevant because you
Okay.
and I went to Italy.
Yes.
Though I am 1%. Well, I thought I was 1% Italian.
Okay.
So Jason and I last year we went to Italy, not by ourselves. We had magnificent others with us as well. Although I think we would travel well together.
Yeah.
Maybe
Have fun.
I don't know. We would probably talk
That
about
or you'd kill me. One of the two.
Yeah. Anyway, it'd be something. But anyway, when I went to Cuba back in
Yes.
December of 2018,
Okay.
before everything got closed down,
Mm-hmm.
I rubbed myself over every single thing in Cuba I possibly could because I wanted to be in touch with my heritage, okay?
What do you mean rubbed yourself over?
You know, like forts and cobblestone streets and
Like
even
you
dogs.
physically, like,
yeah,
what,
like
like-
I was like, I just want to be with my people and I want to connect. I don't know. And then found out I wasn't Cuban.
Okay.
But then found out that I was 1% Italian. At
All
least
right.
that's what Ancestry.com said.
Okay.
Now, as Ancestry.com gets more information, it starts figuring out where you are.
Right.
So before we got to Rome, so I was on the plane, before we got to Rome, Mike said to me, now, just because you're 1% Italian, don't rub yourself all over these columns, Pompeii, any of this business, right?
Right.
Because remember what happened. And he said, you're probably going to end up 1% Nigerian. And I went to Ancestry.com while I was on the plane and
Yes.
found out that they had gotten more information and I was 1% Nigerian. So,
Wait, really?
yes. So he guessed it,
So,
but it came true.
Can Ancestry.com be trusted? I'm just going to ask that.
Well, no, because
question.
it's getting more information, so it's just fine tuning, and 1% is a very, very small percentage.
Understood,
right?
granted,
So, I mean, they're just so basically, I kept moving down Italy, and then all of a sudden I jumped off of Italy and went down to Africa. So, anyway, on my next trip to Nigeria,
You'll be
rubbing
rubbing
myself
yourself
off.
on
yeah.
other thing. Okay.
But we do have some
So,
photos
Cuba.
of my Cuba trip. Can we show those? Look at that.
See that? Okay, that looks like fun.
I'm a boss. Oh, I'm not in the. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Okay. So I'm on the Royal Caribbean ship, and I stole the guy's hat.
Wait, back up. Go back.
Go back where?
To the one with the hat.
Oh, okay. Hold on. There we are.
Is that actually his hat? It's like
That's his hat. Yeah.
it's like a prop hat. There's nothing on it. It's like plain. I thought
maybe-
doesn't the captain have like a big
maybe
insignia?
I
or
don't think
something?
he was the captain. I mean, he's not giving us captain vibes.
So you stole
there.
like the dishwasher's hat?
No, I just reached over. I got the chance to sit in the chair. I reached over and I said, "I'm getting this picture. Can I have your hat?"
And you
I
took it
put
off his
on.
head?
And then this is how he looked.
Did you take it off his head?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And they didn't throw you off the bridge?
No, they were very happy to have me there. And
Bet.
the Royal Caribbean's Empress of the Seas no longer in action. Do we have any other pictures? Because that's not. I mean, that's me on the ship going to Cuba. Here I am in. I think this is Santiago de Cuba.
Okay.
And there's the ship in the background, a little tiny baby ship. My photographer was definitely really good about lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that is me. And then I think I've got one more of little Cuban dogs.
So what's the deal with the dogs?
So in Havana, these little Cuban dogs, they just roam around. They're free to roam. Sometimes
Okay.
they have like little like license plate type name tags on, right? And they're just like, yeah.
Wait,
this
the
is-
dogs have license plate?
Yeah, they're
on them?
like my name is Rover or whatever.
Like the kid ones you'd get at like the
yeah,
novelty gift shop?
Yeah. He didn't have one, but he was definitely. He's given you very.
Did you ever have one of those?
Yeah, I did. On my
I
bike.
did too, but
I
my
did.
sister didn't. She always got mad because they would always have my name but never her name.
What's your
'Cause
sister's name?
Her name's Jamie, but she spells it funny.
Oh, so no,
And
they wouldn't have it.
Yeah, so it was always a thing like, yeah.
Well,
Sorry, Jamie.
these dogs were all over the place, and yes, I did pet them all because I thought my ancestors probably had them as well. So, yep, that's how I travel, guys. Anyway,
So we got so we're going this summer, we're going to Kenya and Tanzania. And we just got our some shots the other day. And the lady who was giving us the shots at the county office was telling us, now when you go to Nairobi, there's lots of wild dogs and cats that run around. Be careful not to pet them because there's a good chance they have rabies.
ooh.
And we're like, okay, good to know. So if you find out that you're Kenyan, don't rub yourself on the dogs and
Yeah.
cats.
Well, I think we're just, I'm going to end up being from Antarctica at some point. So, yeah, that 1% is going to go pretty far.
Okay.
But, I did ask the question about what are some travel tips you can give the bride and groom about flights to their destination wedding. And a person I want to ask that question to is our Velma. So let's this disco music.
I like it.
You like your disco music, Velma?
I do. I like it a lot. Thank you.
So it's time for the check. We're checking in with Velma. And for those of you who are members of our network, you get to read Velma's column every single week, the check-in. But this is us checking in with Velma. And I wanted to ask you, Velma, what are some tips that you give bridegrooms about their flights for their destination weddings?
The number one tip I always give them is arrive to the airport early. And I always take the normal time I would give a customer and I add an hour for bride and grooms. They need
Why?
to get there in an hour. They just don't need that stress of something unexpected happening. And can you picture a couple running through the airport carrying a heavy suit bag and a huge wedding dress in a garment
That's
bag?
true.
So they don't need that. They don't need that. That's not a way to start out preparing for your wedding. So no, that's my number one tip.
Well,
And then
I've not done a wedding, but I have done that particular run through the Minneapolis airport after doing a QVC show and then an event in Minneapolis. And we had a ball gown and my tuxedo, and that was stressful. So I can kind of relate to that.
Yes. The second tip is to travel very light. Go ahead and check things in a luggage that you don't care because you're carrying the most important thing, the groom's got his suit, and the bride is going to be carrying her wedding dress and her special shoes and anything, and that's really all they're carrying. That's what they need to carry. Everything else goes in the check, and if it doesn't get there, who cares? Okay, tip number 3, if it's within the budget, upgrade your seats. At least upgrade, pay the extra. You know how you can pay and get moved up into the main cabin extra
Yeah.
so you can get on the flight earlier?
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. If and a lot of times now they will give you an amount if you want to upgrade to first class.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. You know, if your credit card will take it, do it because you need that extra room. You need that room for your gown and for the suit because this is so important. This is extremely important. So those are my 3 main tips. Now, if now we're assuming they have garment bags and that's what they're carrying. But for some reason, if they need to, the bride needs to put her dress in a carry-on bag. There's a special way to fold that. You put the dress in, put the middle in first, fold the top of the dress down, fold the bottom up, and make a third fold, and that's how that should go in there, and it'll probably arrive pretty good shape.
So you're saying if I take a shopping bag, I'm going to put the dress in, and then I'm going to fold the bottom half over and the top part over, and then now I'm carrying it like this.
I wouldn't take a shopping bag though. I'm assuming they have a carry-on bag.
Right, I know, but we
Yeah.
had a story about someone who didn't, left their meds on a carry-on bag that got checked. So I'm thinking a shopping bag is kind of convenient.
You could wear the dress
I had trouble
on.
with that story. I really did have trouble with that story because, like producer Paul or someone said, they always announce take your meds out if you're going to have to, So
Yeah.
I don't.
Wow.
know.
What else do you have for the lovebirds? Any advice on lovebirds that are going on their destination wedding?
Well, those were my. This is the travel part of it can be very tricky, and so that's the main thing. Just getting yourself with what you're going to wear for the wedding to the destination, and you've already done all the work prior to this. This is the last thing as you're traveling. So that's my main thing. Just get yourself there with what you're going to wear for the wedding, and don't worry about anything else.
Right. Because it could be the big nude boat you're going to. So.
Could you imagine?
Well, before we say goodbye to you, our Erica just wanted to put some reassurance out there to the world. She said, haven't all of us packed a ball gown in a trash bag?
Yeah, girl.
That's how we do it in Jersey.
Did.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Velma, always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so
Thanks,
much for your
Velma.
tips. And guys, please look out for Velma's weekly article, The Check-In. All right?
All right. Have a
See
good
you
weekend.
soon.
Bye, Velma.
Bye. She's got a lot of tips up there.
Yeah. You know one tip I would give?
What?
I would not
Don't get married.
schedule. No. I would not schedule the honeymoon to occur right after the wedding.
Oh.
So we had, Jillian and I had a destination wedding, and then we left to go on our honeymoon.
Okay.
We did it right after. But there was so much travel and all. I mean, weddings are busy as it is, right? Well, when you're traveling and you got, so many things you're trying to manage,
Right.
In a place that isn't home, to then go right into a honeymoon, you're just exhausted, right? So I would save the honeymoon for a little later.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
No, I think there's, you know what? It's all about sharing experiences.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if I've run through an airport with a ball gown and a tuxedo and been stressed out, amen. to
Now,
that.
the way we got to our destination wedding was interesting.
How?
So we didn't fly, so we were getting married in the Bahamas. And back then there was, and there probably still is, there was a ferry that went from Miami to the Bahamas. So we drove from Tampa, where we were living, overnight to check in for this ferry first thing in the morning.
Okay.
We ended up sleeping in our car.
You told me this.
We stopped along the way at a Waffle House, which is a whole nother story, and in the middle of the night,
These are memories,
which
right?
was yes. Anyway, so we
Misty water.
get onto the ferry. She's carrying her dress in her garment bag, just like Velma was describing. I'm carrying the 9 other bags, and we get on to the ferry. We have like a little room. We sleep for 5 hours. We arrive. All of our bags are there, ready to roll.
Awesome. Well, and you know what? Waffle House got to play a part in your wedding. That's
Sure
what I
did.
love.
Sure did.
I love. All the best memories are made, have origins in Waffle House, in my opinion.
You just can't beat Waffle House, can you?
You can't beat Waffle House. All right, so let's go back to the chat here. Let's see. Follow the Second Star wanted to mess with me. She said,
As usual.
I pasted the city of Funchal so Joshua would have to pronounce it. And she knows that is like, I'm like, it's like brace for impact. It's coming out. Yeah. Let's see. I don't know what Attitudes and Latitudes said. Gate 1 is 2. You must do their flights, and they are super expensive. I'm not sure.
I think you're talking about Cuba.
Oh, Cuba. Okay. Let's see. And Paul thinks that you and I traveling together should be another show. Be like Oprah and Gail.
Who's Oprah and who's Gail?
Oprah.
I want to be Gail.
She's good too. Oh my goodness.
It's okay. I can be Gail.
All right. So you're about to head down to Florida.
I am. In 3.5 minutes.
That's fantastic. I am going to spend the weekend at home, not doing any kind of grilling, not doing
No?
any of that.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I'm just going to play with
Rub
them.
yourself on some dogs.
See, that's the kind of stuff that becomes like a little snippet, and then all of a sudden, Evan has put that all over the
interwebs?
The interwebs, yeah. And it'll be like,
You said it, not
You're
me.
just gonna rub it all over the dogs, or you rub yourself all over dogs. No, I don't do that. If you just tuned in, that was when I thought it was more a part of my culture. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, you do have a whole, yard full of dogs.
Yes, we now have 4 dogs.
Oh my gosh.
And it is proving to be a lot to deal with. Yeah.
So one of them's the highway dog, right?
Yeah, one of them was the one that was rescued from a highway, and just her mere presence in our household has caused upheaval. So now dogs have to be separated. It's a whole thing. But she is so cute. Her name is Tink Tank. Hey Tink, if you're watching, she's not. I know that's not happening. Anyway. Oh my goodness.
I think it's adorable. Well, I hope you have a relaxing Memorial Day weekend.
I will. And I've got, for Saturday, Sunday, I've got a different color set of nuts. So I'm going to be all decked out this weekend for Memorial Day.
That's awesome.
Anyway, well, thank you guys for joining us live. And, if you're watching this on demand or listening to this on our podcasting channel, just thank you for being a part of this. And please join us live whenever you can, Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern, for the Love Travel, Live Travel show. For those of us who love travel so much that we choose to live it every day. I am one of your hosts, Joshua Harrell, joined most of the time by my co-host here, Jason Block. Always a pleasure to do this show with you every week.
It absolutely is. It's one of the highlights of my week. We love talking to y'all, and have a lovely, lovely weekend.
Yes, take care. Bye. Mwah.